Hi, welcome to Pep Talk. My name is George Gantz, and I'm a member of PEP, Promoting Enduring Peace. Our motto is Peace on Earth, Peace with Earth. So, what have we done to the environment today? Another toxic spill? A new report on record global temperatures? Or another extreme weather event linked to global warming? Have you heard about the last-ditch effort to save the vaquita porpoises? Or the dramatic rise in elephant poaching in Myanmar? More species on the brink of extinction? And now, the U.S. is pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord. Yes, we can all agree. The news about the environment gets worse and worse, and it seems nobody is listening. But the truth is, that's not always the case. Let's take a look at an environmental issue where we have had some good news recently. Do you remember the horrifying news back in the 1980s about the growing ozone hole over the Antarctic? For years, scientists, 3 of whom were awarded the Nobel Prize for Chemistry in 1995, had theorized that atmospheric ozone was subject to depletion due to the emission of chemicals containing chlorine, especially the chlorofluorocarbons used in aerosols and as a coolant in refrigeration. Now, ozone is a relatively rare form of oxygen containing 3 oxygen atoms rather than the usual 2. But it serves the remarkable function in the upper atmosphere of absorbing and therefore blocking ultraviolet rays from the sun. With the depletion of ozone, UV radiation would increase, resulting in negative health impacts, including skin cancers. This is an issue I'm personally concerned with. I've had half a dozen skin cancers removed over the years. For a while, the science was disputed by industries that used CFCs and related chemicals. The chairman of the board of DuPont once stated that ozone depletion was, quote, a science fiction tale, a load of rubbish, utter nonsense. But in 1985, researchers made a dramatic discovery. A recurring ozone hole had started to develop every year over the Antarctic. This caught worldwide media attention. The impact of CFCs is profound. On average, 1 single molecule of chlorine is estimated to catalyze the destruction of 100,000 molecules of ozone. Subsequent studies also found links to cancer. A 56% increase in melanomas in just 7 years among the people living in southern Chile. So, what was the worldwide reaction? Before the ozone hole discovery, steps had been taken by some countries, including the U.S., to reduce CFCs in aerosols. However, these efforts lagged until the 1985 discovery was reported. At this point, the public reacted and the politicians responded. In 1987, representatives from 43 nations signed the Montreal Protocol, phasing out the production of many ozone-depleting chemicals. Since then, it has undergone a number of revisions and has been ratified by 196 states and the European Union, making it the first truly global agreement in United Nations history. As UN Secretary General Kofi Annan put it, the Montreal Agreement is, quote, perhaps the single most successful international agreement. The really good news? The hole in the ozone layer over Antarctica is finally beginning to close. According to researcher Susan Solomon, quote, we can now be confident that the things we've done have put the planet on a path to heal. Given recent progress, the ozone hole should be closed permanently by 2050. This is a permanent reversal of a critical global environmental catastrophe. Definitely worth celebrating. So, what were the key factors leading to this success? First, the science was clear and eventually fully confirmed by observation. Second, individual governments showed leadership and began to take action independently, which led eventually to a global agreement. But most importantly, public opinion was convinced that the risks were imminent. When we talk about changes in industrial practices and government responses, this last factor, public opinion, is the one that really made the difference. So, what do you think? Can we do this again with climate change, for example? Absolutely, but it will not be easy. First, let's talk about science. Scientists often disagree and debate about details, but the bottom line for science is this: what is nature telling us? No matter what the politicians and pundits have to say, the Earth will have the final word. As for climate deniers, they may have their reasons and their arguments, but they are misguided or they have been misled. Here's a factoid you can offer to climate deniers. We know it took millions of years for the world's hydrocarbon deposits to form, most of it in the Carboniferous era, which lasted about 60 million years. Today, we are burning those hydrocarbon deposits at a rate that may use them all up in, say, 600 years. So we are putting carbon back into the atmosphere 100,000 times faster than it was taken out. That's like dripping gasoline into a puddle for 24 hours and lighting it with a match. You don't have to be a climate scientist to know the effects will be huge and potentially disastrous for life on Earth. For kickers, NOAA reported in January that 2016 average surface temperatures worldwide were the warmest on record, the third year in a row to set a new record. Second, let's talk about your fears. I'm a grandfather. I'm really worried about what is going to happen in the next 100 years because my grandchildren will be living through it. Global climate disruption has already started. It will lead to drought, to flooding, to famine, to war. This is not the kind of world I want to pass on to my grandkids. I can't believe anyone, including our corporate and government leaders, wants that kind of world either. So everyone needs to hear the truth, to fear what is going to happen, and to decide to do something about it. So let's make some noise. Here's what you can do. Get informed. You can sign up for our free news service at peacenews.org and look for balanced, reliable sources in your media feeds. Get involved. Join us at pepeace.org and find a local grassroots organization like your local 350.org chapter. Get active online by sharing what you find and by commenting on it. And contact your elected representatives. Let them know how important saving our world is to you. And remember, while our national government may be going backward temporarily, there's exciting progress taking place in cities and states. So let's take a risk. You can make a difference with your words and your actions. Ultimately, we all want the same things: a clean and safe environment, a world at peace and in balance, and the opportunity to make all lives better. So let's work together. Thanks for listening. Enjoy some peace today.